here. A live, yes, you heard it, live edition of Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. So listen, Monday Night Raw, pretty good. I mean, it was solid. It was. I mean, I'll go as far as to say it wasn't like anything really spectacular, but there was developments that happened on this show. There is absolutely developments that happen on this show. At the top of the list, after a couple of weeks of speculation, some of it reckless, Naomi is in fact pregnant with child. She is out she relinquishes the Women's World Championship. Um, she has that amazing moment a month ago with the cash in of the at Evolution, and then obviously has the successful title defense. But as speculated, and a lot of people thought about this, I was hopefully believing that it wasn't. Well, I mean, I'm happy that it is true, but also considering how great she's been, it is a massive, massive loss for the women's division to lose Naomi. Especially considering one of the main reasons why she was brought to Raw was to replace an injured Liv Morgan. So the women's division in WWE is a mess. It's a mess. We didn't get a bunch of DQ finishes. We got some clean finishes. We had an Extreme Rules match in the main event of this show, which was very entertaining. Roman Reigns comes back. It looks like we are officially heading towards Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris. We have the Fatal 4-Way Clash in Paris. Rusev and Sheamus is going to happen at Clash in Paris, which is fucking awesome. Like, those two dudes have beaten the living shit out of each other, so that's awesome. We didn't see Stephanie Vaquer. We don't know what's going to happen with the Women's World Championship. We won't delve too deep into, what the future ramifications are. If you guys have questions and you guys want to jump in here in the chat and, let me know what you guys think about what happened tonight. To me, like, really, this Clash in Paris show is being built up really strongly, specifically on the Raw side. Because listen, the SmackDown side, we have really no outside of Cody Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes, outside of John Cena and Logan Paul. There's no SmackDown matches on this show. It's we've got Raw match. So we got the 4-Way for the World Heavyweight title. We got Sheamus and Rusev, and then we're still trying to piece together the rest of this thing. So it's just, I don't listen. In terms of Naomi, let me say this. A lot of people are going to poke fun at Jimmy and say Jimmy did not proceed with caution. Let me say this. I am very happy for, as you guys have known, I've spoken glowingly on this channel, specifically after the moment that she had on, it was literally almost a month ago with Naomi, the famed cash-in, one of the greatest, I would say the greatest female cash-in of all time, and one of the greatest cash-ins ever. I was over the moon for Trinity Fatu. Not just Naomi, the character, but Trinity Fatu, the woman. Given what she had been through, what she had to overcome, all the adversity, all the challenges that she had to wait for through her entire career. She's on the biggest run of her life. She's got in the biggest push of her career. She's a heel champion. She's doing the best work of her life. And now she's pregnant. But if you paid attention to anything that you know about, especially the Total Divas fans, anybody who watched that show, you know that one, Rikishi, the father of Big Jim, wanted them to start a family. Trinity, they've talked about this for years. Trinity's not getting any younger. She's in her late 30s, okay? And babies, like, once you get to a certain point, it's very hard and sometimes dangerous, as my sister has told me, because I'm not a woman. It is dangerous at a certain age to start trying to have kids. So this seemed like a good window. She had accomplished a lot of what she set out to do. She got the respect back. Now she's gone for 9 months. We'll see. I'd have to do my math on this because basically 9 months would put, if you go with 4 and then 5, based off by my math, she's not going to make WrestleMania next year. She's not going to, by my math, she's not going to make WrestleMania this year. And at this point, that is completely secondary to the situation. Like I said, we can talk about, the ramifications of this, in terms of the women's division at another point. But what I want to do here, specifically on this live stream is, really just say how happy and over the moon I am for Trinity, for I think I forgot what Jimmy's real name is. I think it's Jonathan. We're gonna do some live fact checking right here. So live fact checking here on the channel. Jonathan. So happy for Jonathan and Trinity Fatu. Let's not make this about Jimmy Uso and Naomi. Let's not. These are real people. These are real people, and that's why. And this is one of the things that drove me fucking mad in the last 2 weeks with when she was pulled from that match on Monday last week, and there was all this speculation that something was going on. Some people speculated pregnancy, and nothing came out about it. And there was a lot of misdirect here by WWE that made you think maybe this is a work, maybe they're doing something, because Naomi walked in with a championship belt custom made with caution tape on it. I was like, there's no way they're having her relinquish it. They gave her the collector's item, and she goes out there right before she goes out there. They tease another Stephanie McMahon podcast where Stephanie McMahon basically, they tease going to break what was going on, and then they bring Naomi out there and they reveal what Jimmy was saying, that they are with child. And, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. And it's great for the family, great for, Jonathan and Trinity, the people. That's what this should be about. But what I hate about the modern internet, and I'm sorry if I'm going to go off on a tangent here, is that everybody thinks they need to know everything. This is a personal and beautiful moment in somebody's life. And for a week, Naomi, or, Jonathan, Trinity, let's talk about them as people. They had to, hear all of this knowing what they knew. And, it's like I said, from that perspective, it sucks. From, like I said, I'm not going to delve too deep into this on this live stream. Did not proceed with condoms. Who's to say, listen, Fresh Fly, listen, who's to say that, Big Jim, that this was something that they were trying. I know the whole proceed with caution thing. This is something that they've wanted to do. And, it's almost fitting that, Naomi on the run of her career, and having so many beautiful moments in her life, coming back to WWE, having this character change that has completely put her in a position that she's never been in her entire career, and she gets pregnant. Like I said, it's awesome for them in terms of the women's division and how WWE moves forward. That is going to be a fascinating thing to tackle because, like I said, Naomi was really brought over to Raw because they didn't have any really top tier heels, because Becky Lynch holds the Intercontinental Championship. So Becky Lynch is, I guess you could say, in the mid card, but it's Becky Lynch. So, I mean, Bayley's going through a character change. We don't know what's going on there. We didn't see Lyra Valkyria at all. It looks like Io and Rhea are going into being a tag team. So there's a lot to sort out, not just in the SmackDown side, which I've talked about. The SmackDown women's division is a fucking joke. And I knew you were joking, Freshly. I was giving you a hard time. But the SmackDown division is a joke. The Raw division, by nobody's fault, really. It's just some really beautiful and some unfortunate luck. Like, the beautiful luck is, hey, Naomi's pregnant. She gets to go off and have a baby. But obviously the Liv Morgan thing was very unfortunate. She could have been positioned to potentially be, but the question now becomes is how are they going to proceed forward? Because Stephanie McMahon has a women's championship match. She's got a women's championship match. I don't know if it's going to happen at Clash in Paris now. They didn't address it. They may address it next week on Raw. That may be how they get to this. Throw women in a battle royal, do a ladder match, something. But like I said, we can sort that out another time. But congratulations to Naomi and Big Jim, Jonathan and Trinity. Um, so that was the big bit of news that came out of this show. It's hard to believe that in the family and also in Raw, Naomi was basically Naomi outshined, Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns coming out, like it's like he had massive aura and aura farming and coming out and spearing people and setting up his match with Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris. But yeah, like on a normal night, that would be the biggest story of the entire night. And the big story of the entire night is Naomi relinquishes the Women's World Championship and puts this. It's like I said on the caption of this video, man. The road to Paris has gotten way more bumpy, and from the men's perspective, like I said, there's some good matches that are getting turned out on this show, because you got Logan, Cena, you've got Roman, Bronson, you've got the four-way for the world championship, and then you obviously have Bronson and Roman. So it's like, listen, this is going to be and Fresh Fly, you just dropped a great idea. And I don't want to get too deep into this, as I've said here, but here's the thing. Stephanie Vaquer has the next shot. I think Raquel Rodriguez or Roxanne Perez should be the next women's champion, because I don't think it's going to be Io Sky. I don't think it's going to be Rhea Ripley. A lot of Rhea Ripley people, and I've seen a couple podcasters say Rhea Ripley needs to be the champion. No, she doesn't. To me, she's got to go through her friendship and her arc with Io Sky, and then she's probably got to beat Io Sky at some point before she gets back to the championship, whether Io's champion or not. So to me, the logical path forward in my eyes is that, for one, you need to shuffle these rosters, and for two, either Raquel or Roxanne deserves to be the women's champion here. That's as far as I'm concerned, because neither one of them are in the tag. They're kind of just the tag team division's clearly occupied by Charlotte and Alexa, and they've already been beaten. So, and yeah, I agree, PHX. Like, yeah, they need to let somebody else hold the title. And it doesn't have to be Stephanie. Stephanie can chase. Naomi's not coming back. You could have a heel champion hold it, and then it sets the stage potentially for a Liv Morgan comeback at the Royal Rumble, her winning the Royal Rumble, and potentially, going on to face whether it's Roxanne or Raquel. And listen, I got to say this, Raquel has been impressing the hell out of me. She had a damn good match with Io tonight in the opener. Raquel has been very impressive, and it's amazing. She took advice from Kevin Nash, just work bigger. She has come across as more of a force. Her wrestling has gotten a lot better. Not saying that she wasn't a good wrestler to begin with, but she's impressed me, man. It really started with that Night of Champions match with Rhea back in June, where my eyes were really open. I was like, damn, like as a single, she could really do some stuff. So Raquel makes a lot of sense there, and I think Roxanne makes a lot of sense too, just because of the natural thing with Liv. That seems to make a lot of sense. And maybe they were going to fast track this, and maybe Naomi didn't factor into this in the first place. But now here we are, basically, two key cogs on the heel side of your women's division are out. So that's really how far I'll go with this. Like I said, the opener itself was, we had another long, drawn out. Raw. If I can make one critique to you guys, Raw has become very formulaic to me. Not so much in the same way that Vince McMahon's Raw or Vince McMahon shows would be, but it's very formulaic, where now you're starting off with your heel faction, and Jey Uso interrupts. I mean, we actually basically Heyman said. Heyman basically called Tommy Dreamer the late great Tommy Dreamer, which certainly created some buzz on the internet. So that was so yeah, that's, I mean, like I said, it's gotten very formulaic. Jey Uso interrupts. He gets some stuff. He gets some stuff in. and they set the stage for, what was going to be an Extreme Rules match in the main event. So, hey, we're not going to get a DQ in the main event. Like I said, Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez was really, really good. Io wins in about 11 minutes after losing last week to Roxanne. And then Rhea comes out for the save. So clearly they're setting for something up with Rhea and Io. And then they're teasing tension with the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka clearly teasing a heel turn. And, that could also help this women's division as well. I'm not saying Asuka needs to be the champion, but Asuka being a heel, I think, would be better for this women's division right now moving forward. Penta took on Xavier Woods. This was a quick little match. Penta, I love that he's finishing matches with the Destroyer. I don't know what they're doing with the New Day. They need to find something better for Penta and for the New Day to do. But, hey, this was a quick little match. It fed into a story. I don't know what Grayson Waller's doing there. What I liked, what they did here, you had Finn Balor, JD McDonough in a non-title match against Dragon Lee and Mr. Iguana. And if you guys watch Triple Mania, man, dude, Mr. Iguana's fucking fun as hell. Like, AAA is a lot of fun, and I like the way they presented it. And this really fed it. Like, this was a quick little tag team match. Unfortunately, Dragon Lee's got to be the one to eat the pin. Like coup de Gracie, coup de grace, and JD's really good too. And a lot of interference in this match, but the tag team champions win. I love Dragon Lee. This was a fine match, but then Dom attacks Dragon Lee, puts him on the announce table, and El Hijo del Vikingo comes out. Not as many boos as were in Mexico on Saturday night, but hey, they got through it, and they're clearly setting the stage for Worlds Collide in Vegas next month. And it's going to be Dom versus Vikingo for the Mega Championship. So good cross promotion there. I'm really excited to see where that goes. Crazy moments, but yeah, Vince near the end wasn't booking shock moments. But I get your point, Fresh. I get your point. But yeah, it was great to see. It was great to see Iguana in that match, and he got a good reaction from the crowd, and he's a lot of fun. La Yesca. So then, one of my favorite things on this entire show, another Bayley video. Looks stressful, and for some reason she's hearing her inner dialogue of the old Bayley, the idiot, and then the inner voice says, "How about a hug?" So this striking this contrast in what we're doing with Bayley. Some people think Bayley's going heel. This character, transformation or whatever we're seeing from Bayley is really interesting to me. I don't know how everybody's thinking, hey, she should potentially play a role in the women. I don't think she should. I think they should let this marinate, let this, cook a little bit. But I've been really intrigued, and I think this is some of the best stuff WWE from a character perspective has done all year. This was some good storytelling there, and I love what Bayley's been doing. So that was definitely intriguing. Natty, Natalya takes on Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky wins this one relatively quickly. I was a little disappointed that we didn't see the Bloodsport version of Natty, the one that we saw at AAA. But I kind of get it. Maxine tries to save Natty after the submission. Becky tries to attack Maxine. Nikki Bella comes in for the save, hits the Rack Attack 2.0, and we're clearly setting this up. Maybe this happens in Paris. I have no idea. Sheamus and Rusev had another brawl backstage, which is great, and I guess it's going to be a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. So these two are going to beat the living piss out of each other, which is fucking awesome. This has been like, basically the Carmelo Hayes, Andrade a set of matches that they had on SmackDown, but I don't think it's going to go to the best of 7 series. Then we set up the Naomi appearance that we talked about. The one thing that I will say, is I I absolutely loved that Naomi, for the most part, kept character during this entire moment where she's announcing her pregnancy. Adam Pearce is trying to be all nice to her, and she basically tells him off, saying, "I ain't giving you shit." And uh, like the crowd goes crazy for this. Yeah, this was just like she was clearly emotional. Um, it was clearly a big moment in her life. I'm very happy for her. I'm very happy for Big Jim. And yeah, so it was so yeah, it it's interesting. They were planting some seeds, with Dom, sort of aligning himself later on in the show, aligning with El Grande Americano. It's Ludwig Kaiser, and he's been doing a really good job in it. It's going to be very interesting what happens when the real El Grande Americano comes back. So then we get the main event. This went on for a while. This was a 20-minute match between Jey Uso and Bron Breakker. Lots of interference. You had LA Knight making a run in. You had CM Punk making a run in. It was crazy. It was chaotic. Bron Breakker looking to spear. Bron Breakker is looking to spear Jey Uso through a barricade, and basically Roman Reigns' music hits. The crowd goes nuts. He gets a spear. He gets a Superman punch. He starts beating people up. Jey Uso hits a splash on Bron Breakker through the table. They get a 3 count. And that's your match. And they're jawing at each other, basically saying, "Hey, I'll see you in Paris." So that's really the show. I kind of skim read the notes here through you guys, because really, like I said, outside of the Naomi stuff, like, it was a fine show, but outside of the Naomi stuff, and there were some good pieces of stuff, but really, again, another formulaic episode of Raw where basically, we get the Vision in the beginning, we get the Vision at the end, but we get Roman Reigns. What we expected to happen is going to happen. What's going to be really interesting for me is the path forward, and like, how do we proceed forward? So clearly we're going to have a Roman Reigns match. We're going to have a John Cena match. We're having a world championship match, and we're having a good old fashioned Donnybrook. Usually Triple H PLEs are only 5 matches. We've already got 4. So is Stephanie Vaquer going to be in Paris? How's that going to look? I have no idea. That's going to be something to monitor for sure. And how this women's division gets sorted out, man, like, that's going to be something I'm going to have to talk about on the channel at some point, but I'm only going through a couple. I mean, listen, I don't disagree with Logan Paul winning, because listen, John Cena doesn't need to win. I don't like Logan Paul, but, and as far as I'm concerned, Logan Paul shouldn't be having this match with John Cena, but it's probably something John wanted. John clearly, he's literally been in a bunch of matches with Logan Paul on pay-per-view in premium live events. You had the Money in the Bank match. You had the Elimination Chamber. You also had the Royal Rumble. And now you're going to have this match at Clash in Paris. So that's 4 matches on his retirement tour on pay-per-views that have involved Logan Paul. I understand the Elimination Chamber is a multi-man match and the Royal Rumble was a multi-man match, but still, that's the point. They clearly want to push this guy, and they care about social media reach and that type of thing. So I get it. And, this guy pinned Jelly Roll. I mean, pinning John Cena isn't going to really do anything to John Cena. John Cena's retiring. What you're supposed to do on your retirement run is go out on your back. But at the same time, Logan Paul is going to be fine if he loses either way. But he has lost a lot on pay-per-view, so that's going to be something to watch out for. Rusev and Sheamus, I think, honestly, could it won't be like, like a show stealer in the same vein, but it's going to be one of those matches that I'm really looking forward to, because those guys have beaten the absolute living shit out of each other for the last couple of months, and it's been great to help Rusev get his feet wet really back in on the main roster and being back in WWE. Listen, I don't know where the rest of this card goes, and I don't know where the rest of this product goes, because the women's division really was the hottest thing that this company had, and now Naomi's out. She's out past next WrestleMania, because do the math, 9 months. she's not going to be back until what? Um, we're looking at what? I think we're looking at May next year is when she's going to be back, or when she's going to have the baby. So we're looking probably at closer to SummerSlam is what we're looking at as a realistic, starting point and return point for her. Because, like I said, we're looking at least 9 months, and then she's got leave to, obviously, take care of the baby in its infancy stages as a mom. So, like I said, I'm from a human being standpoint, I am over the mood for Trinity and Jonathan, the people, as I said at the start of the show. But from a logistical perspective, if you're talking about this from the WWE angle, this is a huge issue. This is a huge issue from a booking perspective, because now you use your get out of jail free card because you didn't want to have Io and Rhea, Io pin Rhea or whatever. So you created a shocking moment because you didn't have Liv Morgan in there. And so now here you are. Everybody who doesn't like Rhea Ripley is probably happy, because I don't think Rhea Ripley's going after the championship for a while. So I think that's something to look out for. I'm definitely. I do not hate the possibility of Naomi coming back, and waiting it out, and ultimately waiting until the Rumble in 2027, wherever that is, because hey, you're not going to win the Rumble because it won't be in Saudi Arabia. Not that that matters to some people within that company, but yeah, that's not a terrible idea. I definitely think that that's something to look out for too. But yeah, I think this clearly sets the stages for something with Liv Morgan. And to me, I think Raquel Rodriguez and Raquel Rodriguez to me and Roxanne Perez seem like the logical ideas for what they could do. They could give it to Stephanie. I think that'd be fine because she's popular and she's over. And then you could have one of the heels beat her. That's fine. And that way Stephanie gets a chance to hold the championship, because she frankly deserves it. She's one of the most popular people they have. And you should always put over your popular stars. But there's, as people always say in the business, the chase is almost better than getting the championship. So we'll see what they do, man. Guys, I'll stay on the horn here for another couple of minutes here. Take your questions. Going past the 30-minute. We'll go past the 30-minute mark. I agree that Big Jim should, if he's not going to go back and team with Jay, and it seems like Jay is still in the world title picture. I don't know why, other than to eat the pinfall in Paris. But I do think Big Jim beating Solo for the title, because I don't think Sammy's winning it. I just don't see any sense in that. Because Sammy's already pinned Solo twice, so they've already made Solo look like a chump there. Like, listen, the biggest thing that I'll say, there was a lot more energy and a lot more excitement across, even though this was a very formulaic show from Raw, than there was on SmackDown. SmackDown, there's no life, there's no star power whatsoever. I mean, it didn't help that Randy Orton, John Cena, Cody Rhodes were not there on Friday, but this show feels like night and day compared to SmackDown. And listen, and Fresh, you're absolutely right. She was a funkadactyl, man. She was on Total Divas, and I have watched this woman Trinity Fatu improve so much. I remember you guys remember the female season of NXT when it was a reality show? AJ Lee was on that show. And there were some other people on that show that it was a weird season. I had to live through that. That was some pretty god awful television. You guys remember Caitlyn? Yeah. So, I don't know what Roman's situation is with wrestling on Raw. CM Punk's been able to wrestle on Raw. He only wrestles a handful of times, so he's doing it in Paris, and then he's going to go film his movie Street Fighter in September. Maybe he's back for Perth. Maybe he's going to do something at War Games, but I don't know if he's going to wrestle on Raw. The one Raw match that he worked was the Netflix debut in that tribal combat match against Solo. I don't think Roman's going to wrestle on Raw very much. Like, he's not going to wrestle much at all Like, he's got nothing left to prove. But yeah, in terms of Naomi, I'm happy for her. And that's really, I think, what this show will be remembered about, is that not only did Naomi get to say what she wanted to say on her own terms, she got to cut a promo and keep character. And as a wrestling fan, I fucking love that. So I don't think AJ Lee's coming back. But that's a fun idea there. So yeah, gonna run this kind of short. Like I said, not a whole hell of a lot to talk about tonight. But we'll be back on Wednesday for Dynamite. Thanks everybody for tuning in, chiming in here in the chat. I'll see you guys very soon. It's a live edition of Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic 28 and OT Mike Sports on Twitter. Go follow those. Subscribe to the channel.